All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to an exciting show of Marketing Mondays. I'm your host here, Noel Charisma with Soaring High Marketing Solutions. We bring you solutions not just for your marketing, but for your business as well. So we cover all our bases. So I just want to go ahead and bring you guys a lot more value, a lot more, strategies you guys can implement into your businesses. We've been doing marketing now for over 15 years. We've got a lot of experience within a lot of different industries. I want to keep Marketing Mondays a little more broad, a little more general, so I can cover all different businesses out there and industries. I'm going to start also doing a MedSpa growth podcast, which is going to be geared mainly just for med spa owners, practitioners, surgeons, doctors. That way to kind of share the same things I'm going to be teaching with you guys here on Marketing Mondays, but just make it more um, targeted and more focused on the med spa, beauty and aesthetics, wellness industry and space. So be tuning into that. Right now, where I'm here on my YouTube channel, going to be growing this channel, sharing a lot more of content with you guys, different tips, tricks, strategies, different training sessions, webinars. That way, you guys can really hone in on what is this thing called marketing, what I need to be doing, what I need to be focusing on. That's what we like to do here at Soaring High Marketing is giving you guys a detailed game plan, strategy, focused, tailored, custom to your business. So we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're not trying to guess what it is that we need to do, but we analyze your business. We conduct an audit in all different phases of your online presence, on your SEO, on your website, to really understand what's working, what's not, where you position, and where do you need to be in order to get to the place that you want to get to. So there's so many different platforms out there, so many different marketing channels, there's so many different strategies. So that's kind of one thing I want to focus on today is how searchability online, how when people search, how it has changed. Many people for a long time were talking about, the new attention economy. Now we're shifting more into interest media, went from social media, attention media, now interest media. Can you capture not just the attention, but the interest of different people online? So I want to cover in today's episode, or it can maybe be more of a training session for you guys, is on the search everywhere optimization, search everywhere strategy, how you guys can dominate your local area in 2026. So let's go ahead and get started because we know search has changed. It's evolved over the years. Most of the time search just happen on, on Google per se, some of the other search engines, such as Bing, Yahoo search, and there's also one DuckDuckGo, which is kind of more for, private searching and whatnot. So Google is going to be the main power player when I talk about search engines. When I talk about search online, that's the main one. But now we're seeing a shift that people are not just going to Google anymore. We're seeing a shift depending on your behavior, your age, depending on how it is that you use the internet, how searching is shifting. It used to be only online, used to be only on search, only on Google primarily, but now people are searching all across different platforms. Great thing that Google did is that they bought YouTube because Google is like the written, typing, the writing out of words, keywords to search online and on text, text, and then they bought and they acquired YouTube, which YouTube is like the video search engine where everybody goes on YouTube now to search using keywords, backing off of what makes Google a powerhouse. They go over to YouTube, and then from there, they're able to go ahead and search from all the different types of content that there is online. So you have Google on one side with text and written word, and then you got YouTube on the other side with more video and also here audio search as well. So people go on Google, people go on YouTube. Those are the big, power search engines. Now you've got the little giant that's waking up, that's gaining ground, that's elevating itself, and that is AI. AI search from platforms such as ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Grok. People search also now on social media. social media, whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of these different platforms are evolving, are growing. And that's why today's topic is search everywhere optimization. It's not just now on search engines. You got to be everywhere and anywhere online. That's what we love to do here at Soaring High Marketing is to make your business omnipresent so that you're found anywhere and everywhere that your business can be found. So people are using social, using AI tools, they're using voice assistants. They're asking, "Hey Alexa, hey Siri, hey, name whatever voice engine you want to call it or name it or whatever." But they're using AI search. They're using voice search in order to start, hey, recommending restaurants, recommending places to go to, trying to get directions to a place, searching for your services, whether you're a med spa, whether you're a roofer, whether you're a plumber, people are searching for you guys online. So search has evolved, it has expanded over the years, and it's not changing anytime soon. It's everything is just accelerating. So whatever you learned last year, a year ago on SEO is completely different now. The platforms, the algorithms are changing. Everything's always updating. So that's why if you're one of the business owners that is kind of do-it-yourself type of people, I'm gonna figure out on my own. This everything is just moving and changing so fast. It's hard for you to keep up with. That way, whatever you learned, a year ago, a year later may not apply. It may not work because the strategy, the platforms, the algorithms are always updating. There's always changes happening, so you want to make sure you have a marketing partner on your team, on your side, that knows exactly what it is that they're doing. They're staying relevant, they're staying up to date, informed, and being able to adjust the strategy as they see fit. So it's important that you partner with the right marketing agency, and we'd love to work with you here at Soaring High Marketing. So let's dive right into it. Let's go ahead and let's talk about it. The search everywhere strategy, how to dominate your local market in 2026. SEO is no longer about the search engine, it's about search everywhere. As you can see here, there's so many different icons, so many different names, so many things out there that we got to be on. Because if your business isn't showing up across all of these different platforms, you're invisible. And being invisible, being obscure, being forgotten, not being seen is the worst thing that's going to be for your business, is being obscure, that people don't know who you are, what you offer, and what you can do to help them achieve what it is that they want to achieve. So businesses that understand this are the ones that are dominating their local market. And if you want to do the same in 2026, you've got to dominate this strategy about being found and across all of these different platforms and being found everywhere. So let's dive right in. What exactly is search everywhere? Again, like I mentioned earlier, search doesn't just happen on Google anymore. It happens. It's still a big place. That's why you still have to invest into Google, but you just got to be expanding now onto these other platforms with AI search engines, social media platforms, voice assistants. It's just not one vehicle now. It's not just one platform now. Now it's several that are coming because it used to be simple. You rank on Google, you focus on Google, and you get customers. So now search is fragmented. You can rank, people are searching and discovering, businesses and services across multiple platforms when it comes to Google search, Google Maps, Instagram, TikTok, AI tools like ChatGPT, search engines like Perplexity, voice assistants, you name it. So this is what I like to call the search everywhere strategy. The search is no longer a platform, it's a behavior. Depending on, like I said, on the age, depending on, your background, depending on what platforms you like best, depending on how your mind, works and operates, then that's how you can be geared to these platforms and how you use the platforms. So AI, the search is no longer just being on one platform. It's about being on all of them, and it's about driving behavior on your consumers, on your customers, on your clients that are online. So again, SEO, we're breaking a lot of things down to you, different names, concepts. You guys know of, may have heard of, and you just kind of trying to figure out how does all work, how does all make sense, how does this operate, what is search engine, what is axe engine, what is generative, engine, all these different engines out there. Well, basically what you want for your business is to create a lead engine. How it comes about doesn't matter. You don't care. You don't have to know all the different intricacies of all these different platforms. What you just care about is how do I build a lead engine for my business? How do I get found? How do I get more customers? How do I get seen? What strategy do I focus on? What type of content do I create? It's all these different things that, when you try to do it yourself, you don't know where to get started. You don't know who to trust, what works, what doesn't. Because again, the strategy is all dependent upon your location, your industry, how you currently position online, how are your competitors, because whatever works for your competitor may not work for you, and whatever works for you may not work for your competitor. Even if you guys may be in the same area, may be in the same market, maybe in the same industry, it may not always work out that way. So the idea I want you guys to take away with in today's episode is that you've got to dominate search everywhere, because if you're not everywhere, you're nowhere. And if you're nowhere, you're invisible online. So I'm going to be talking about all these different engines, but just keep in mind that all these different things are just different things you got to be aware of, take into consideration, and then partner with the right team that can make all of this happen for you. And just focus about creating from all these different engines out there. How do I create just a simple lead engine for my business? So, wanted to take that quick break, but let's get back to it. So, search engine is very common. It's the main focus. It's been for many years. It's obviously been always changing and adapting, but it's just basically being found online. SEO is basically, showing up when people search on Google. Plain and simple, it's just searching when people go into Google and they type keywords, when they type in for your services, or when they begin their search to buy whatever product or service it is that they're looking for, you want to make sure that you're found on Google. And there's many different ways, which I'll get into later episodes, how you can improve your SEO rankings. How can you guys get found on Google? Right now, this is more of a kind of a big picture, big scope. That way, you guys can get to know these different terms, get to know how search is changing, in the space online, how it's changing within your even your own industry, your profession, whether you're a med spa, you're a roofer, you're a dentist, you're a plastic surgeon, you're an attorney, accountant, insurance agent, you name it, we all have to focus on search engine. We got to focus on Google on one side of the scope, and then we dive into the other ones. But basically, it's showing up on Google when people search for your services. That's why having a good Google My Business profile is key. Having the keywords, on your site and on your content. So people, when they search the keywords pertaining to your industry, to your service, to your product, they can find you. So that includes, Google search results, it includes Google Maps, it includes local listings. That way with us, we're able to put you on 60 to 70 different online sites, depending on your business, of course. Some are, better suited for your business than others are. But we put you on 60, 70 different online directories, citation sites, social media platforms. There's so many things out there that we do in order to ensure that we make sure that you're found everywhere online that you can be. And when I, have strategy sessions with clients or with prospects before they become clients, I kind of walk them through what the local listings mountains looks like, and be able to show them all the different platforms that they can be on. And the good thing is that most of the time they maybe only heard maybe about a 10% of it. The other 90%, they've never heard it. So the good thing is that they haven't heard it, then that means that they can be able to outrank and outcompete their competitors, because if they haven't heard it, most likely their competitors haven't. And if your competitors haven't, that's how you gain a slight edge and a competitive advantage over your competitors and your competition in your local marketplace. So, when it comes to Google, just example, when people go onto Google and they search, med spa near me, roofing company, in Fort Lauderdale, different keywords, Botox services, body contouring, how do I lose weight fast? How do I grow my business? That's maybe how you found me, with this, what does this mean? What does that mean? How do I do this? And all these different things that people search that it kind of depends on where on the buying, cycle are they? Are they first just, beginning their search? So they're kind of trying to compare services. They're trying to compare different treatments, different devices. They're trying to, get a gauge on what works. How can they fix it themselves? So all these different things that people search for is content ideas that you can put into blogs, you can put into posts, social posts, into video content, answering questions, all these different things when people are searching. That's what you can utilize in order to create content and to create information that people can find. And once they go down that rabbit hole, then they see everything else that you guys have to offer. And if your content is good, then your content can then nurture and convert them into an actual client. And another key thing good for SEO is having Google reviews, written form. And then for YouTube, have, video testimonials, case studies are always good when people are looking to kind of compare you and somebody else. They can see that, before and afters, transformations, how it looked day one, how it looked, day 30, day 60, day 90, depending, of course, on your business. So why does SEO still matter? Why is it still important to focus on Google if everything's going to AI and everything's just, at our fingertips of social media and whatnot? The reason why it matters is simply because when people search on Google is because they have a high intent of actually using that service because like I said, they're researching, before they buy, they're trying to compare, they're trying to see who's the best one. So there's already a high intent on the services that they need. Works great for home services. So if you're a plumber, a roofer, electrician, those are immediate services. My toilet's clogged, my sink is clogged. I have a leak, a roof leak, and it's right now raining this whole week here in Miami. We got to go ahead and patch up the roof. So these are things that are more immediate, that have high intent because people are ready to make, purchase right now because they're trying to solve a problem. So the faster that they can find you online, that you can rank on page one, rank in the top of the rankings on the search platforms, or in this case, Google, then that's how you're going to be able to drive more traffic, better leads, and have better conversions for your business. SEO has long-term visibility. So the good thing is like your evergreen content, it means you create it once and then it just helps to compound over time that one thing leads to the next, and your SEO starts compounding because then more people are getting more eyes on it. Is being used as a way that people, because at the end of the day, search isn't going away. People got to search for different things. So if your blog, answers multiple questions, you have content that relates to it, you have videos that pertain to the topic that people are searching for. All that stuff stays online. So whatever you post online stays there and is able to then create, consistent lead flow for you month after month. And I always say that a good SEO campaign or campaigns, because this is a long-term investment into SEO, a long-term investment to SEO can outdo any paid traffic. Can be ads because again, SEO is about helping you, sorry, helping you get found online. So it stays there, it's permanent. Let me go back. Slideshow, current slide. So it can outperform any a good SEO campaign can outperform any ad campaign as long as you have invested into SEO for a long time and you do it right. It can outperform any ad campaign. And I'm not just saying that, just out of the blue, but actually, I actually have seen it working with a local med spa here in the Miami area. We came on board with them about 2 years ago now to handle their SEO. They had somebody I was managing the Google Ads account and month over month because they actually had another, content and PR team that was helping them with like events and different things on the back end. So they were, I had monthly meetings with them, kind of comparing our agency that was just doing more website improvements, optimizing the website and running their SEO compared to how their Google Ad campaign team was performing. And month after month, time after time, they were getting more organic traffic to their site than they were getting on the paid traffic side. Again, could be a mix of things, of maybe ads, the creatives, or even the budget. But I know our SEO strategy was able to outperform their paid ad strategy. And in time, we increased the SEO budget, and then we took over the Google Ads campaigns ourselves. And then when you can combine your SEO with paid ads campaign. SEO is primarily, on Google. If you can combine it with a good Google PPC or good Google Ads campaign, then you're hitting Google on both sides of it becomes like a 1-2 punch because you're doing organic and paid, and you're doing it from the same platform, which is Google. And the same thing applies to if you're doing with social media. If you're posting content on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, the next step from there is then okay, how do we then transition and then run paid traffic, to get more leads on social? The good thing is they already have content there. So whatever content you have on these social media platforms that are performing well, that get good engagement, that got good views, then we can run different ad campaigns using that content because we know already that people are resonating with it, interacting with it, engaging with it. And if it's and if the plus, if that organic content is producing leads for you inbound, then once you combine it with paid ads, then you're just like your whole marketing strategy is just on steroids, taking you guys to the next level. So it's great to start with organic and then increase or integrate paid ad strategy, when the time is right. So if you can do both, people always ask me what's better, SEO, Google ads, Facebook marketing, or Facebook ads. It's not one or the other. It's doing both because just like this episode's about, it's about search everywhere, being everywhere and doing everything that you can to get attention for your business because there's so many noise out there in the world right now that it's not just your competitors you gotta be worried about. It's about all the different news, politics, culture, pop culture, entertainment, sports, all that noise out there is how do I get in front of my ideal customer, my ideal audience, and be able to convert that attention and their interest into revenue for my business. So that's a whole nother ball game. That's a whole nother business marketing cycle podcast episode I can get into. But that's like the big picture, the big thing that you have to keep in mind is okay. My competitors isn't just another med spa across the street, another massage therapist, is not another dentist, is not another roofing company, it's not another billboard, attorney on there. It's all these different things that's out there that's always fighting for the attention and of the interest of your ideal customer online. So let's get back into it. So that's again why SEO still matters because it's still relevant and it's still part of a good strategy because again, SEO is driving traffic to your website, is driving traffic to your, social media pages, driving, traffic to your blogs, to your content, so people can then connect there and then, convert into a customer. So again, if you're not on page one of Google, again, you're going to also be invisible. If you're not working to get into the top page, top results, you're going to be invisible and obscurity is going to overtake you. So the idea about about the search everywhere strategy is about being omnipresent and dominating your local market. So if you're not on all these different platforms, if you're not investing into SEO, if you're not into the first page of Google, then you're invisible online. So it's not now. So this is going to be entering the new stage, the new era of SEO. the new area we have jumped into, which is GEO, generative search optimization, or generative engine optimization, because it involves generative search, but is the generative engine optimization. Let me pause that real quick. Let's get back to it. So it's generative engine optimization. So this is basically AI search engines, such as ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Grok. Again, there's always coming out with new ones, but these are like the main ones that people use, at least at the time of this recording. Pause, because again, this video is gonna stay up here on the channel, and you may watch this, years from now. And again, this is what we're using in today's digital marketing landscape. Again, things are always gonna be improving, new platforms always gonna be coming out. So that's why you gotta make sure that you just don't follow the latest trends, but that you stay on top and have a strategy in place that's gonna keep you, adapting as time goes on. So this is a place where most businesses are being left behind right now, and that everybody's fearful that AI is coming, AI is gonna take over everything, and GEO, generative engine optimization, is basically optimizing for the AI generated results. So when people ask AI about the best med spa near me, the top roofing company in Miami, AI is going to pull from, the websites, content, reviews, authority signals. This is going to be coming from all different angles. It's basically like AI using SEO to find your business, to recommend your business, to put you on the list. Businesses, top businesses, depending on what it is that they're searching. So GEO is comes down to being, AI search engines, AI search visibility, being, on these different platforms as well. And it all comes down to the content and the authority that you have in your space and the content that you're producing. So this is a key thing that's changing and shaping how, search is being used in today's um, marketing landscape. And the way that you can win with this is with having a strong website content. Because again, nowadays people get away from you don't need a website, you don't need a website, I have social, I run ads, this and that. But again, people are always gonna look you up online, they look up your reviews, they're gonna go through your website. So if you don't have a website, then it's okay, you're kind of a red flag right there because why don't you have a website in today's, you know, in the year 2026 in the 21st century, if you don't have a website, but more important, if your website is not SEO optimized, if it's not, you know, optimized for today's search, if it's not having good interactivity, if it's having a good user experience. That's why a lot of these old websites we got to go back to and optimize them, update them. Sometimes we may have to actually just shut it down and rebuild a whole new one from scratch. Not build one from scratch, but we just have to rebuild it. So basically, you have to take all the authority you have on your old website, transfer it to a new site, and preserving that authority that you have on there as we build you a better foundation, better layout, better scheme tags, a better user experience for your customers online. We actually had to do that with one of our med spa clients. Is that we were working on SEO for a long time for their business for a couple years, and we maximized the most that we could into those SEO campaigns for how their website was at that time. It came to a point saying, "Look, we basically have maxed it out. If we try to just keep reinvesting more into this, it's just not going to get the payoff that we know as well that their business, that their website, that their content has the potential for." So we went ahead and we shifted gears. We said, let's go ahead and work on a new website for this client because, they had been with it for so long. We're like, okay, we're going to shift from just doing the SEO campaigns to rebuilding the site. So we'll be able to extend, carry over the rankings, the keywords, the content, the blogs, basically the essence of their old website, but then just updating onto a new platform, new design, new layout, new technical SEO built in the back end to give their users a much better experience. So again, like I say, here at our agency, we're not, reactive, we're proactive. If we see something that we know it can perform better for our clients, we're ready on the phone, we're ready with the email saying, look, this is the strategy, this is what we got to implement now as we move forward. So we're not here just taking orders, we're not just here waiting to see what happens. We're here waiting for the client to tell us, okay, now it's time to do this. No, we're actively, optimizing, improving, always seeing how we can gain an advantage in the marketplace. So rebuilding a site is a lot more expensive than building one from scratch, just because building, okay, you can build it, in 30 days. When you got to do a whole rebuild, that can take a month's project because you're trying to preserve everything that you invested into for so many years while you had that old website. We gave it a fresh look, a fresh, you know, um, layout. We improved the content. We optimized the old content for better content. And now it's just become a machine for our MedSpot client. And as we're combining that with Google Ads, performance campaigns, demand campaigns, now is just their business getting ready to just explode right now. So again, having a website is still key in 2026. And so you want to make sure you guys have blogs. Blogs is content, which is good for SEO, but it's also good for GEO because this is what they scrape, they crawl, they even internally search through and skim read through. So you want to have blogs answering questions. You want to have authority content, with videos, with podcast appearances, interviews, having reviews, testimonials. So you want to make sure that you want to win with GEO and these different online and AI platforms. You still want to have a good, consistent online presence from search to social to video and so forth. So that's going to be key because if AI can't find you, then AI can't recommend you. And that's again, you have to create the content, you have to follow the guidelines that these platforms want when we create content for them to recommend us, for them to be able to show us as, the go-to in our marketplace for our services and for our business. So if AI can't find you, it can't recommend you. So that's what GEO is all about, is focusing on the AI platforms, the search engines, to be able to get in front of your ideal clients and audiences as well. So GEO, and then there's AEO, which is the Ask Engine Optimization. So it's kind of a continuation of SEO plus GEO because this is now optimizing to be the direct answer on all these different, voice assistants, social platforms, search engines, AI tools. So this is going to be a different example, different platforms I put on here. You have Google Gemini, you got Grok, which is Twitter or X. You got Siri, Alexa, whatever you want to name it, is when you ask these platforms, who the best is, who do they recommend? Should you call? Who does XYZ that you're looking for? Botox, whether it be for Botox, whether it be for facials, whether it be to fax, patch your roof, fix your tire, whatever the case is, this is about optimizing your content on these platforms to be the answer. So this that comes with AI assistants and AI voice assistants and AI results. So how do you win with this? Is that you want to have feature snippets on your websites and content. You want to have voice search results. You have AI summaries. Google Gemini is great for that because now people are saying, "Oh no, we gotta wait from SEO because now it's just the first thing you see at the top is just going to be the answer that Gemini gives you, and within that, it's going to be recommending and giving different examples. People are not going to go to the rest of the page." But you want to be on both sides. You want to be in the Gemini answer, Google answer, but you also want to have supporting content. So when they find your Google Maps, they find you on different listed sites, they find you on social, they see the different content and blogs you have that Google is recommending. All of this different stuff works together. That's why marketing is a system. It's not one service that you do. It's not just doing getting an SEO company, getting a GEO company, getting an AEO company, even though it's one and the same, because it all falls within SEO. But it's like all these different services out there that we know that we got to be doing, working together as a system, as a lead engine for your business. So, when someone asks, hey Alexa, what's the best treatment for body contouring? Or who's the best? Where's the best place for me to get a good massage? Where's the best place for me to have a relaxing day? That's going to be that all these different platforms are going to be able to pop you up and say, this is the best. This is the go-to person. This is the one that we, being AI, is recommending for you. So you want your business and your content to be the answer. You want to be the answer. So how do you win with AEO? You want to have FAQ style content, frequently asked questions, think about make a list of the top 10 questions that your clients, ask before getting a treatment, before using your business. Ask about, what is the process, what's the procedure like, what are the do's and don'ts, what are the mistakes that you see happen. So it's kind of getting inside your ideal client avatar uh state of mind to say, okay, what are they thinking about before they come and use my service? What causes them to come and search for my services? So let me start creating content, blogs, video, and post pertaining to that. That way, once they search, I already have the answer right there for them. And then that content drives them to a conversion, converts them into an actual client for my business. So it's all about having clear answers, clear and concise answers, having structured content on your social profiles, on your website, and also about being positioned as the authority in your space. That's why when you start dominating search everywhere, you become the dominant player in your marketplace and you become the authority figure because now people are seeing you from all different angles, all different sides. They go on Facebook, on Instagram, they go on, a random website, you see a banner ad, you hit them in their inbox with an email, with a text, with a phone call, all these different things that they're getting bombarded with, and you're still there top of mind, then that's how you win the business and that's how you stay top of mind. So businesses the business that answers the questions wins the customer. When it comes to AEO, that's what you have to keep in mind is the business that answers the question wins the customer. And that's what's going to help you become great when it comes into AEO, Ask Engine Optimization. So kind of like a nutshell, comparing all three, SEO is about getting Google rankings, GEO is about getting visibility on the AI platforms, and AEO is about becoming the answer. So SEO helps you rank on Google, GEO helps you show up in AI, and AEO is how you become the answer. So together, all these different components is how you win the search everywhere optimization, and that's how you become a local authority in your marketplace here in 2026. So having that in place, then that's how you become omnipresent. You have omnipresence marketing, meaning that you're anywhere and everywhere. So whenever people turn and look online, you're right there, right behind them in order to get them to convert. Because the goal isn't just traffic, the goal is omnipresence. Because someone sees you on Google, on social media, on a YouTube video, in AI search, you become the authority, you become the trusted opinion. Because familiarity builds trust, and trust drives conversions. So they see you on Google, they see you on all the different social platforms. There's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Threads, um, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Snapchat, and so many a few others I'm probably not naming that's out there, but there's all these different social platforms, all these different AI tools, YouTube, and all these different video platforms as well. So familiarity builds trust, and trust is what drives the conversions. Not what That's why when a lot of people fail with ads is because they think ads are just going to bring people in the door, and then from there, that's how you can become a client. Ads get people to the door, But then having a strategy, having content, having a follow-up system, a sales process, nurturing leads, that's what's gonna get that conversion because people need to be, you know, have exposure with your content, exposure with your business, exposure with your brand before they actually convert. So a lot of people fail when it comes to running cold traffic or paid traffic is because they get a cold audience in the door, which doesn't know you, doesn't know how you can help them. They just saw you an ad of yours. Yes, you offer the service that they're looking for, but again, here in Miami, South Florida is a very competitive market. There's damn a dozen professionals out there that does exactly what you do. How do you separate yourself? How do you distinguish yourself from the competitors? What makes you different? Is it your process? Is it, your personality? Is it your charisma? Is it the way your process on how you do the service? All these different things people search online. They see an ad, they see your content, and then okay, then what's the next step from there? So and that just comes now back to the lead cycle is okay, once you bring in the lead, okay, then what happens after you get the lead in the door? And that's where a lot of businesses fail is because, yeah, they're able to generate leads, but they don't know how to nurture them. They don't know how to follow up. They don't have no drip campaigns in place. They have no email sequences. They don't have, instant response, with an AI tool, an AI receptionist that can call, text, and email. As soon as that lead comes in, they wait days to respond back. So yeah, so when you're running paid ads, you're gonna get most likely get a cold audience coming into the front door, and that's why it takes time for them to convert into an actual sale, into an actual customer for your business. But again, having familiarity, that's gonna build trust, and then trust is what's gonna help build and lead to a conversion. So you got to dominate your local market. In order to do so, you got to show up everywhere and anywhere that your business can. You've got to be active creating content because creating the content is going to help you build authority. It's going to help you capture that demand online because your content is what's going to get people in the door. Your content can be used to send out in an email, to use to run a retargeting campaign, use it into an ad lead gen campaign. Your content is going to be what people are going to, sit there and listen to your podcast, watch your YouTube video, watch your before and afters, watch your testimonials from your clients, watch or listen to or read, all these different hitting people from all the different senses, for them to read, for them to hear, for them to see, all of that, and having different types of post and content out there is what's gonna help you dominate. So to dominate locally, you got to be strategic because you got to rank on Google. You got to show up on maps. You got to create a content across all social platforms. You got to appear in AI search. You got to build up your reviews and your authority in the space. So that's how you stay top of mind. You capture attention, you capture demand, and you convert more leads because the businesses that show up everywhere, that's the business that wins. If you're everywhere, that gives you a much higher probability that you're going to get that customer because you're going to find them anywhere, everywhere, at every stage of their buying process, no matter whatever stage that they're on, whether they're just researching, comparing, you know, trying to create like a budget, get pricing. They're trying to find out who to go with. You're going to be there at every stage. So the businesses that can be found everywhere, that's the business that's going to win in 2026. So that's what's key to invest into the marketing, to invest into content, to invest into outreach, outbound marketing, inbound marketing, all these different forms that we can be generating leads, generating traffic, and then being able to follow up, sell them, close them, and get more business. So this is kind of like the framework that we have here at Soaring High Marketing. You know, really like three components. It's about having searchability online, being on Google, AI search, maps, listings, having a good website optimized. And then that moves us to visibility. Visibility is having good content on social, running paid ads, having, retargeting ads in place as well that we be able to be found and seen everywhere. And then that leads to convertibility, having an instant response AI receptionist to answer in real time, having a CRM where you can manage your leads, having funnels in place, having landing pages, I can guide them through the sales process online, and then having a follow-up system where you're having email and text, drip campaign sequences, to be able to then nurture that lead with your content, with your ads, with your information that you have here. So you can nurture your leads, you can reactivate old ones, you can retain your current database or your current clients and get them to buy more stuff more frequently at more quantities, for a lot longer. And that's how you're gonna build. This is how our system integrates all these different services, all these different things that we do into one full system. So our marketing growth system for your business is based on these three things: searchability, visibility, and convertibility. And that's how you win in today's marketing landscape. Again, today I'm kind of covering more on the first part, which is searchability. Coming episodes, I'll talk about visibility and convertibility as well. So again, you got to be visible everywhere that your business are searching, that your customers are searching for. You got to be on all these different platforms, all these different icons. Some of them are good for a business, some of them are not. Some of them, you spend time on. So you kind of understand how you spend your time when it comes to these social platforms. And then how can you go from just being, a consumer, how can I become a producer and start creating content that's going to resonate with my audience to get them to become a customer for my business. So to close, search it just isn't Google anymore. It's everywhere. People are searching, and if your business wants to grow in 2026, you got to be able to have the content, you got to have the right strategy to be on all different platforms and to be able to be found everywhere online. You need to be visible everywhere that your ideal audience, your ideal customers, your ideal clients are searching for. So, because searchability leads to visibility, visibility leads you to opportunity, and opportunity leads to revenue. And this is how you dominate your local market and giving you kind of a rundown on how the search everywhere strategy is composed of. Of course, if you guys have any comments, questions, make sure to drop it down there in the comment section. I'll be able to respond and get right back to you. If you guys want to go ahead and have an audit for your business, we do a website SEO audit to kind of show exactly where you're ranking, where you're positioned, and how it's the next step for us to be able to get you to that next level. And if you just want a strategy for your business, now that we are entering now Q2 of the year of 2026, Q1, the first 90 days have come and gone. We already have celebrated Easter celebration, Easter resurrection. If you want to resurrect your business, your dreams, your goals for 2026, the year is just getting started. That's the thing you need to understand. That the year is just basically getting started. Q1 was here, is about learning, testing, seeing what worked, seeing what didn't, getting back to that, New Year's resolution of what your goal was, what your target is for the year, and then getting back on track, getting refocused, having the right strategy, the right game plan in place for your business so you guys can keep on growing, month after month, year after year. So let this be the year that you're going to double down on your marketing, on your advertising, on your promoting your business so you get the right amount of eyeballs, attention, traffic, so that way you can build, grow, and scale your business. Because I truly believe here in 2026 is going to be a year of decision, is going to be a year that's going to shift a lot of people. You're either going to keep growing and expanding, or you're going to start pulling back and contracting. And, we're seeing everything happening right now with the news, with politics, with the economy, and times are going to get tough. And the way that you're going to break out of all these tough times is being omnipresent, being found everywhere to give your business a chance for it to grow, so you can build it, so you can scale it, and you can expand it. And the way you do that is with reinvesting back into marketing, back into advertising, having the right people in place, having the right team at your side that knows what they're doing, that has the results, that have the drive, that have the strategy for you. So if you need help building the system and all these different things that I'm talking about, I hope I was able to be as clear and concise with you guys. That way you guys can kind of grasp these concepts, grasp, these different terms out there that people love to kind of throw nowadays. And you're like, what the heck is all of this? What the heck is SEO? What's EEO? What's GEO? What's this whole thing with AI? Hopefully you have a better understanding now. And again, if you need help applying it to your business, let's go ahead and schedule a strategy session. We'll start with a discovery call, get to learn more about you and your business, where you at and where you want to get to. And then we can devise the right proposal with the right strategy in place to ensure that we help you get there. But it's Q2 of the year. It's time to pull more fuel to the fire. It's time to pull full throttle and let's make it happen. Let's make it go because times are going to get easier. Business is going to get easier, but having the right team with the right strategy in place on your corner, backing you up is what's going to help you get there. So if there's anything I can do for you, please comment it down below in the comment section. Make sure to like this video, comment, subscribe to the channel, watch the other content that I have, and I'm going to be here committed to bring you guys more value and more strategies for 2026. So, you know who it is? It's Noel with Soaring High Marketing. This has been Marketing Mondays. Over and out.